Lords and ladies, after so much disappointment this year in terms of gaming, we may finally have some good news. I am, of course, referring to the news surrounding the game Blood of Dawnwalker, a dark fantasy open-world RPG being made by the studio Rebel Wolves. Now, I've been following this game for months now, what little there's been to follow at least, but we finally have a concrete date for a reveal of several key things, and I, for one, am cautiously psyched about it. Of course, there's a good chance you've never heard of this game before, and that's why I'm here, because I'm going to talk about everything we know for certain, and then talk about the more speculative theory crafting stuff, which is always fun. Let's start with the studio Rebel Wolves. They're a Polish studio that was founded only a short while ago in 2022 by none other than the actual brainpower behind the original Witcher games and large parts of Cyberpunk 2077. The CEO and game director for Blood of Dawnwalker is Konrad Tomaszkiewicz. Konrad was at CD Projekt Red for 17 years and was possibly the most important and impactful person at the studio at the time. He was the game director for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, as well as the game director for the Hearts of Stone expansion. In addition, he was the vice president of game development, secondary game director, and head of production for Cyberpunk 2077. His brother, Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz, is the creative director of Dawnwalker, and has also had a storied career. He was the lead quest designer for Witcher 3, including both the expansions Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, and was both the quest director for the Cyberpunk 2077 base game and Phantom Liberty. The two brothers formed Rebel Wolves based on the desire to create another epic dark fantasy saga, and by all appearances, this truly seems to be a passion project for them. And that is, let's be honest, always the first priority for a good game. Actually being interested in the content of the game and the themes you're working on. And since the announcement trailer, we know a little more about what's coming. We know that the game is called Blood of Dawnwalker, and that it takes place in a location called Vale Sangora, replete with turbulent history, natural landscapes, and secret inhabitants. On the 13th of January next year, on the full moon, we'll get to see a CGI trailer for the game, as well as the building blocks and main concepts surrounding it, and happily, a small bit of gameplay as well. And Rebel Wolves is promising much more than just that. And unfortunately, at this point, this is where the facts, i.e. all the verifiable information, ends, and we are forced to speculate. Now, it should be obvious that this game almost certainly has something to do with vampires. The fact that blood is mentioned as part of the game title, and the name of the setting, Vale Sangora, translates to something like Valley of Blood based on the roots of the words. And this makes it almost obvious, as it would be very weird if the game had nothing to do with vampires. On the other hand, the announcement trailer also mentions something about a full wolf moon, which then suggests werewolves. And finally, in the announcement trailer towards the end, they state, "The world needs what it fears," which could be a reference to the type of protagonist you're playing, very likely a vampire, or maybe a hybrid, who may serve a vital role, but nonetheless will be feared by the common populace. The symbol they show has a crescent moon and a sun, indicating the ability to thrive both within daylight conditions as well as during night. And ultimately, if I had to guess, we could very well be playing something like a Dhampir, a blade-like figure that corresponds to Blade from Marvel, or perhaps something like Alucard, the son of Dracula and a human female that possesses the abilities of a vampire, but very few of the vampire's weaknesses. And the little art of the game we've seen appears to support this thesis of a human-vampire hybrid, or perhaps, given the mention of a wolf full moon, going off on a limb here, something like a Michael Corvin from the film Underworld, a werewolf-vampire hybrid that is stronger than both, but is not affected by sunlight. Either way, it's almost certain that being a Dawnwalker, whatever that ultimately means, will be something that is meant to exist in contrast with the darkness of the setting. On the Discord, there's also a pin that states, "True power can be alarming," another reference to the possibility that you as a protagonist, whatever your good intentions might be, could possibly be shunned by the common folk, who fear your power. Luckily, we'll have a much better idea of what's going on come the 13th of January next year. But of course, speculation can be fun, and I truly hope this game delivers on the dark fantasy promise that's been made and turns out to be fun, compelling, and well written. Ultimately, we'll have to see, but I can't help being more than just a little excited, because this type of game involving vampires and dark fantasy is right up my alley. But in any event, if you like my videos and my content, you can leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's much appreciated as it helps out the channel, and I'll check you out next time. Take care.